Hey, it's Hunter with Group 9, talking about Chapter 1, the odd chapter, for this week. Hopefully this presentation can help clear what this chapter is all about and what these words mean and processes are. So we have agile, continuous delivery, and the three ways, and those are all separate, different ways of development. So, the introduction, real quick. This is going to be talking about the foundation of what lean manufacturing is, as well as the three ways, the principles in which all of the observed DevOps behavior can be obtained. So, kind of like the history of how DevOps was formed and how this came to be. So, it's going to focus primarily on theory and principles over many decades and lessons learned from businesses and how I guess these software practices have grown over the years. So we got Agile starting off first. So Agile is not like a set rule. There's no set guidelines of what it actually is. It's just kind of like some values and principles, and then it's up to the team to interpret them into their own business and their flow and what works best. So I have here a little bit to just kind of show you. You can take a look at the 12 principles right here. And so pretty much if you were going to take this software development principle, you would kind of go over this with your employees, and you kind of like go over how is the best way to incorporate it into your product, into your team, and how it's best. And but yeah, learning these actually made a lot of sense to me. And before we jump back to the presentation, Agile prioritizes left over the right, and what it means is these four things here: the left over the right. So response to change is more important than following the plan. Customer collaboration is more important than contract negotiation. Working software is more important than comprehensive documentation and so forth. It's not saying that following the plan is bad, and there's no value in following the plan. There still is, but when it comes down to it, they value responding to change over the plan. So back to the presentation here. We move on to continuous delivery. And continuous delivery, I guess, is another type. It's pretty close to agile. It kind of covers the same things, but it's specific in the way that it's all about fast deployment, and it's about having all the teams kind of ready to go at any moment to release, even if it was like not, I guess, up to standard, and if it's not really going to be like polished and so forth, but just that you have all like your teams, your marketing team, production team, software development, coding, all these different types of different teams on your business. They be all on the same page, all know what's going on at any time. So basically when it's time to go, they'd all be able to be at the same spot and have the same information to release it. So marketing team's not going to be marketing some product that's completely different because it changed in the past year and they were never told about it and so forth. And then we got three ways of DevOps thinking. So it's going to split it up in three different ways here. So the first way emphasizes the value of the entire system with a focus on the flow of business value enabled by the DevOps processes, procedures, and practices. And so we have this little graphic here where it's like a straight business to customer. Just what they made is delivered to these guys. And then we have the second way is about creating the right to left feedback loops. We kind of introduce some feedback in it. So we're going to deliver our product to these guys, and instead of just having them, I guess, here you go and take it or leave it, they give feedback, and then we release a new product or update with the feedback and so forth. It's kind of like that cycle. And then next up, we got the third way. It introduces a continual experimentation with the goal of ongoing optimization. So I kind of take a look at this as like, I'm not sure if you see this or not, but So let's say you're this team, but you're producing it to these guys here. But before you even get it to them, you've already made like collaboration and talked about it with other different people and all these different teams working together, overlapping, and just always trying to be on the same page as close as possible. But before they even get like their first product, and then after they get that product, after it's been through all this collaboration, then it's feedback again and recycle the progress. And so I'm not sure if much of you guys like game or not, but when I kind of read through this, I kind of think of it as like the games as a service model instead of like the old school way, just like releasing the game and like here's the here's the game and there's no updates, there's no downloadable content, no patches. Now we have a game that's released, and then we can have updates to it. They can patch it, they can fix it, and so forth. And so that's kind of the way that I see it now in this example here. So I see a lot of teams kind of using this, but it kind of is not called the third way anymore. It's probably called like the DevOps way. But hopefully in the I guess what I talked about kind of makes a little bit more sense how all these kind of tie together what makes DevOps what it is today. It kind of takes the best of all these ideas and puts them into DevOps, which is pretty good. So it's just a lot of businesses use it now. I know Microsoft's really focused on Azure DevOps, and all these different types of companies are taking this model. But yeah, hopefully you learned a little bit, and this was a decent presentation. All right, see you all.